Welcome to the new podcast. It's called Racewars. My name is Maurice Cunningham. It's my first time doing something like this, so come with me on this journey of racing. Okay, I've been around racing since I was 5 years old. My first race was the 1989 Long Beach Grand Prix, infamous Grand Prix. It was Little Al versus Mario Andretti. Okay, so Little Al, Alan Jr. versus Mario Andretti. It was spectacular. This was the year Mario and Little Al came down to the finals. Like it was last 10 laps of the race, and Little Al makes a move, and this is old Long Beach. So this is when you would go down Shoreline Drive and you made a right. The driver would make a right as opposed to a left by Bubba Gumps. This is before all that got built up over there in the Pike and everything. Little Al makes a move to take the lead and knocks Mario out of the race. Okay, with about maybe I want to say 7-8 laps to go. Mind you, Little Al had to short shift the rest of the time because he was low on fuel and didn't want to come in for a stop. He had a great lead over Michael Andretti. He had like a 30-second lead at this point, so he could short shift and kind of do what he needed to do. He finished his race with one wing, and there was a fight afterwards in the area. Mario went over to go talk to him, and it was kind of a little kerfuffle, if you will. Let's talk about me for a minute. I want to introduce myself to you in a more thorough way. I love racing. I've lived through some of the greatest eras of racing. I'm 40 years old, and I've been watching racing for 35 years. And I've lived through some of the best F1 I've ever seen with the different cars. NASCAR with them coming out with different cars and just kind of going through eras. IndyCar, watching the rise and the fall of IndyCar and the resurrection, if you will. And then with sports car racing, so IMSA and WEC, from the big Group C era cars, the Mazda 787B, the Porsche 962C, the Jaguars, the Mercedes, the Sauber Mercedes, all these great cars that have hit the track. To the evolution of the from GTP to LMP1 to LMP 900, LMP 975 or 675, LMP2, LMP3, PC, all of this. And I have learned so much and been a part of so many great moments in racing and bad moments too. And moments that scratch your head and then sober moments as well. So, you know, I was watching the Daytona 500 when Dale Earnhardt hit the wall. And I watched Ayrton Senna at Imola. These are tough times to talk about. And even Jules Bianchi, I was watching that race in Suzuka. Racing can give you some of the highest highs and the lowest. The focus of the podcast is going to be kind of 4 different series. So I'm gonna have to get back into NASCAR, so that's one. Sports car racing, I love IMSA, love WEC, so we're gonna be talking about that. IndyCar and Formula One. I know Formula One's super huge with the Drive to Survive series and everything like that on Netflix. By all means, if that's how you got introduced to Formula One, we can run with that. We can talk about that. We also are gonna, if you have questions about the different series and different types of cars, I'm willing to break those down as well. Racing for me is a very, very big passion. It means so much to me in my life. Like I love that. I just want to let you guys know out there that if you have any questions about racing or you just want to get introduced to it, let me know. Hit me up. Talk to me. Like I want to talk back to you. I live for this. I love racing so much. Also in April, Long Beach Grand Prix, you can always find me there. I'm usually just walking around, kind of hanging out, sitting in the grandstands, watching practices. I mean, from the time it opens till the sun goes down, usually. It's always a fun thing. If you pick a favorite driver, know that everybody has their favorite drivers. I can tell you all my favorite drivers in all my series that I like. I get up and stay up watching practice sessions, qualifying, races. I do all of it. And that's just what it is. And I appreciate where the racing world has come from where it used to be. A lot of this stuff wasn't accessible. And with all the streaming services out there now, you can watch all the racing you want on multiple platforms. So you're not just stuck with whatever shows up on cable. If you want to watch WEC, I think they have a combination with Barstool Sports, which is on the Max app, which is on HBO Max. You want to watch IndyCar, they just switched from Peacock over to Fox Sports. Not only will those races be on TV a lot more, but they'll also have stuff in the app. And then if you want to watch IMSA, that's still going to be on Peacock. That's still going to be a place where you can get all your IMSA races. You just got to be ready to get into it. And you know what? Pick your poison when it comes to racing. You don't necessarily have to watch all of the series that I watch. You may find something different. So we can talk about drag racing if you want to, MotoGP. If you want to talk about the feeder series and the young guys, so F2, F3, F4. You want to talk about Indy Next, NASCAR Infinity Series, or even the Truck Series. Like, we can talk about all that. That's the beauty of this. And if you want to talk about something that I may not necessarily talk a lot about, so like drag racing, and like I said, MotoGP. I'm not a huge MotoGP fan. Don't get me wrong. The motorcycles are amazing. They're just not for me. I can watch it. I can understand it. I have favorite racers from back in the day. So like your Nikki Haydens, your Casey Stoners, Miguel Duhamel, Valentino Rossi obviously is a big name that people know. But the big, huge one that's on everybody's mind, one of the most popular racing series in the world right now is Formula One. Huge shakeups in Formula One going into this next thing going into 2025. And then the hugest news out of Formula One coming in the beginning of the season, Sir Lewis Hamilton, going to the big red machine in Ferrari. So these are all storylines I'm looking forward to in Formula One. In IndyCar this year, a ton of rookies are taking the field. They just started their new charter system, so you will no longer have these big, monstrous, like 6, car teams. Like Ganassi was huge for doing that the last couple of years. They have 4 or 5 cars on the grid. It is inviting other teams into the sport. So like Hugo Hollinger, and you have Carlin now that's going to be coming in. For me, my biggest question is Will Power on his last year with Penske? Let's see, because he hasn't been as dominant as he usually is, but he still has been finding a way. The old man is figuring it out right now. These are all things that you got to kind of figure out and see where things are going to go. And that's part of what the racing is. But all subjects we can get into. You tell me where you want to go, and this is where it's going to go. I'm going to have my slate of topics every time I get up here. There's stuff I want to talk about, but I want to know what you guys want to talk about. Get into this with me. Like, let's take this journey together. This is one of those things where if you get into it, you will find something about it that you like, whether it's the sounds, the smells, the environment. You get to be around people that are hyped up and ready to watch something special. Everybody's looking for something special, and you just have to be willing to figure out what that is. Because I'm new to this, I want you guys to come in with me. I want you guys to feel like you can ask any questions about racing. No matter how outlandish, no matter how crazy, no matter how weird you think it is, I'm going to try to give you an answer. So you can always email me at racewarspod@gmail.com. That's pretty much it for me today. I just wanted to kind of introduce myself. Come back to the channel. It's the Racewars podcast. You can always find me on YouTube. And like I said, you can always get to me on Instagram, or you can email me, okay? Everything's Racewars Pod to find me, okay? Thank you. Have a good day, guys.